Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Sumo Logic's brown bag session on observability. My name is Lisa Carnes, and I'm one of our CSMs here at Sumo Logic, and I'm going to get things kicked off here really quick for us. Just as a recap, if you haven't been to one of our sessions before, we launched this series earlier this year in April, and they happen on the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th Tuesday of every month. And they're designed to provide you with an opportunity for our customers to spend some time with us in a more intimate setting to learn about key technical topics. And so today we will be having our observability session being led by one of our engineering managers, Damian, and he's going to be covering Sumo Logic Service Map for tracing. And so as with the sessions, feel free to add your questions in the chat. I've opened up the chat to everyone. You can also use the Q&A windows as well. And then when Damian's done presenting, we'll leave some time for open-ended Q&A too. So this session is for you guys. Please don't be shy with your questions. I'll do my best to maybe help, but probably Damian needs to answer a lot of them. So without further ado, I'll give it over to Damian. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Hello, everyone. As Lisa mentioned, I'm Damian. I'm the engineering manager for distributed tracing team in Sumo Logic. And today I'm going to present service list and service map functionality in Sumo. I think you can see my screen. You can see the presentation now. So yes, let's get started. So basically, quick agenda. I will just briefly tell what is services view. So basically, it's the way how can you get into service list and service map, and I will jump strictly to the live demo, and at the end there will be time for questions. So what is services view? It's kind of split on two parts. Yes, so you can get into the services view by using new button and clicking services. And once you do that, you will see the list representation. You can switch between list and map representation. Yes, so this is like the map view. And in a nutshell, it's like a high-level overview of your services and their KPIs. You can see whatever anomalies there are with particular services. And what is important to mention here is that both of these views are based on data from traces. So if there is no traces, you won't be able to see anything. So yeah, so now let me jump to the live demo. So as I said, in order to get to the services view, I'm clicking new, then services. And by default, service list shows up. So as with service list, you have like access to like standard tabular functionalities. Yes, you can sort, you can filter, and so on. And whatever anomalies there are with given service, they will be flagged in red. Plus, you will be able to see this red bubble. Basically, green is green, red means there are some anomalies. So if I started with anomalies, I will dive a little bit deeper into that. So basically, we are targeting like 3 KPIs, 3 fundamental metrics. The first one is requests per second. So in case we exceed some threshold, this will be treated as an anomaly. Same with latency, and same with error rate. If we go to the settings, you can see how it is configured. So by default, automatic anomaly detection is turned on, which is based on standard metric outlier operator. with like last 15 minutes learning window, and the data is being compared to the same 15 minutes long window, but a week ago. So if there was no anomaly 1 week ago, and outlier operator will detect an anomaly, it will be flagged in red.
Damian, we have someone who is raising their hand. I'm gonna take them off of mute so they can ask their question.
Okay. Feel free.
All right, go ahead. Oh, you're muted if you're talking and asking your question. Okay, well, I'll leave you in the state of being able to talk in the Zoom. So when you want to ask your question, go for it. Go ahead, Damian, and just continue.
Okay. So by default, anomalies are based on the worst case, and that basically means this bubble will be highlighted if any of the metrics, any of the KPIs will have anomalies. We can, of course, narrow it down. So let's say if I'm interested only with latency-related anomalies, I will click here. And in a second, these red the anomalies will show up here. So I can no longer see requests and error-based anomalies, just the latency ones.
Hey, Damian, we got a question in the chat. Is there some config that needs to happen for services view to work?
I think if you have tracing enabled, this is what I said on the very beginning, yes? So you will be able to see the data in services view once you have tracing enabled. So if trace data are coming in, you should be able to see it by default.
Thank you.
Because yes, all this stuff is based on traces. Okay. So this is like an automatic anomaly detection, and if we would like to have more control over the anomalies, we can just turn it off, and we can go for manual anomaly detection instead. And as you can see there, here we can choose either latency, requests, or errors. So let's say I will turn on latency, and I can define the threshold. So whenever latency is greater than, let's say, 200 milliseconds, it will be flagged as an anomaly. And we can choose whether it's like at least once during this time frame, yes, or for like entire time frame. You can of course change it to like different time frame. And it's exactly the same with requests and errors. So here, let's say if there is less than 1 request per second, it will be flagged as an anomaly, which is exactly what happened here. Same with errors. So whenever the percentage of errors is greater than 0, it will be flagged an anomaly. And again, I can define a time frame. By default, it's 15 minutes. So this is so anomaly detection is one thing. Another thing is filtering. So basically, I can filter by application, environment, service name, and latency type. So this, if I choose this application, I can see only services related to OpenTelemetry demo. If we are using deployment environment dimension in our traces, we can also filter by environment. Of course, I can filter by service name. and I can change latency type. By default, it's average. I can use percentiles. Plus, besides of that, we have some additional filters. First of all, at the left-hand side, let me clean this. This one will disappear because it was quite confusing, this remote service, because any service can be remote, basically. So, and what remote service means is that this is the service which we know we are sending requests to, yes, but it has not been instrumented, and it will be clearly visible on the map how remote services are represented. So I will show it to you in a second. As I mentioned, this position will disappear from this menu because we have it here. So I can hide like all remote services. Additionally, let's say if I'm interested only with HTTP services, I can like filter out other stuff. So this is like filtering by type. Plus, I can additionally filter by anomalies. So let's say I would like to see only these two guys. Then I will just unclick here, and I see only latency-based anomalies on the list. Some additional options, hide orphan services. So basically, these are the services which do not have connections with other services, and I will show it in the map in a second. And hide inactive services. So if there was no traffic on given service for at least 1 hour, it would be hidden. So in this case, we don't have such services on the list, but we have some orphaned services. So this coffee bar, orphaned. And that's roughly it about the list. So now, are there any questions so far?
Nope, none, no new ones yet.
Okay, so I will switch to the map. So as you can see, this is a different representation of, it's like more dynamic. It will show you the dependencies between your services, kind of like architectural view, hierarchy. And it will also clearly show you the health of your service and the load. So now, as I turned, like I was quite aggressive with anomaly detection settings, all services were red. But let's say if I limit this to only latency, I can see in red, as you can see here in the legend, yes, red square mean there is an anomaly. So I can see all the services having anomalies. And I was mentioning about these remote services. So whenever we see the cloud icon, that means it's a remote service, yes? So if I would like to hide them, I can just click it here, yes? So no remote services. And this coffee bar is an orphan, yes? He has no connections to other services. So again, I can filter this guy out. Same with inactive services. So inactive services are marked in dashed line, but as we can see, we don't have any. And yeah, the size of the circle is represents number of requests. So here we can see an example size. If I hover over this one, I can see that it's 1 per 25 requests per second. So this is what the legend says. Yes, the smaller ones have around 0.02. In this case, it's 0.09. So basically here I can see which service may be a bottleneck, which service has like too much traffic. If I turn on requests based anomaly detection, yes, if I'm interested with latency, I can just focus on latency, and the same with errors. So in this case, we don't have too much data on our staging environment, yes, but I think this can give you quite a good picture how this can be utilized.
Damian, so we do have another question. How would I delete services?
You can just filter them out. You cannot delete services from the map. There is no functionality like that, but you can narrow down the results. Yeah, so in this case, I can see only these two guys. They are highlighted basically. So there is no. It's impossible to remove them. At least not for now. We were not getting requests like that from the client so far.
And then the next question, I actually know the answer to this one. Does using transaction tracing require additional Sumo credits? And the answer to that is you don't need to necessarily buy additional credits, but you can use the credits in your contract for tracing. It's I believe it's 14 credits per gig for tracing. So hopefully that answers it, Dave. Let me know if you have follow-up questions to that. Okay, thanks, Damian.
Okay, so then I think the last thing which I think it's worth mentioning is possibility to drill down. Yes, because the fact that we can see services, we can see anomalies and so on is one thing. Yes, but if we would like to dive deeper, we just click on given service, and we have an entity explorer view, and from this point we can drill down, let's say, to entity dashboard. So I clicked on driver service. Yes, here I will be able to see driver service specifics. Let's give it a while. In the meantime, I can also drill down to logs, traces, and spans. So in this case, by default, I will have all the traces, which includes driver service. So if I take a look into duration breakdown, I can see that driver service is there. Yes. So like all the services, driver has been filtered out. I see there is some issue with this view. It's interesting. Let me try to take another one. It's a live demo and staging environment, so forgive me, guys. It was working 5 minutes ago, half an hour ago. It should work on your environment, production environments anyway. Yes, and besides of that, yes, I can drill down to metrics, root cause, explorer, and so on. And is there anything is there anything else I should mention? I think that's basically it. So I think it's time for questions.
Okay, we just got a fresh one. Once tracing is enabled, is this feature services only available to Sumo customers in commercial, or is this also available to customers in America Federal? Do you mean
there is no FedRAMP? Tracing is not available on FedRAMP, if this is what you are asking for. So not at least not for now. There is a plan to go for FedRAMP with tracing, but it's not the case yet.
Thank you. Great. Okay. So does anyone else have any other questions? We got lots of time left for questions. Does anyone want him to show something again? Oh, we have, oh, did you raise your hand? No. If you want him to show something again, he can also do that as well. No other questions? Oh, here we go. How would I configure alerts for P95 errors?
Alerts for P95 errors. So in this particular view, I don't think you can do it. You should probably use some other view, which I'm not fully familiar with. So I won't be able to answer this question straight away, but I can figure that out. Maybe Lisa can share my email, and if there are questions like that which I cannot answer today, I will figure that out.
Yes, Prakash, I'll grab your email from the registration list and I'll have Damian answer that separately for you. Or actually, would anyone else want to know that? Because maybe we'll do a few people in that thread. Okay, anyone else have questions? We got our expert here with us. Don't be shy. Any question is a good question. Any recommendation on best practices?
I think I can mention here maybe about the limitations, yes, because this services view, I think it supports currently up to, let's say, around 10,000, few thousands services, yes. If we have like too many services, it won't be very helpful. Yes, so it's like in this case, the usage is a little bit limited. Of course, in the future, we can expand on that and like refine it a little bit. But so this is the limitation, and definitely you should be using filtering to narrow down the results to limit the number of services you want to see, and try both. Yes, please try both. Try the list, try the map, and see which one works best for you in given scenario.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. So Dwight is raising his hand. Dwight, I'm going to allow you to talk so you can ask your question. Go ahead. We can't hear you, Dwight. You did come off of mute, but I at least can't hear you. Can you hear him, Damian?
No.
No. Yeah, I have everything open for you. Maybe Dwight, if you want to type your question in instead. Oh, sorry, I didn't have a question. Okay, no worries. But we do have a couple more. Let's see here. So Tao asks, how may I start to load data?
Tao, do you mean tracing data? If you mean, I guess you mean tracing data. So in this case, you either use our RAM script if you have a web application. For any other environment, yes, it's about our OpenTelemetry collector. So you have to configure collection and instrument or auto instrument your application. Configure collector. So basically, the collector will be sending data to Sumo. We have some help. We have some nice help pages. If you go to sumologic.com, I think you will find quite a lot of useful information how to use it.
Yeah, I think this doc I'm putting in the chat, I think should be the right one. Okay, and then Iskra asks, can you add alerts based on some thresholds? For example, I get a Slack message if the latency is more than X. How do I do that?
So this is about alerts functionality, yes, and this particular view is not integrated with alerting yet, but this is something what we are going to add, and you can expect this feature, I don't know, within coming weeks probably. This is on the roadmap.
Thank you. Let me make sure I didn't miss any in the chat. Okay, no new questions. You're welcome to those who are saying thank you. Thank you for saying thank you. Any other questions? Let's just give it another 2 minutes, Damian, in case people do have questions. Yeah, they technically have us for a whole hour if they want, but we don't need to do that, of course. But let's just wait. We'll give you guys a couple more minutes. If you want to ask questions, we'll take them. Okay, we got one. Nicole's asking, is there a way to add today's date as the end date on a date range for a report?
For now, it's limited to 72 hours, and it's like it's fixed. So currently, you cannot change it. It's always lasts 72 hours. Feel free to file requests like that. Yes, if we will be getting more requests like that, I think this is something what we will have to consider.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. I think maybe is Tao's question related to Nicole's? He said, where may I? Oh, recording for this. Oh, Tao, I'll give you the recording. I'll put it in the chat in just a second. Not the recording of this exact one, but the landing page where all the recordings live. This will eventually get onto there, so I'll add that in. So Nicole said, so the start date is set and the end date is always today.
That's correct. That's correct. So start date is minus 72 hours from today.
And then Abel asked, can you customize reports to display just results instead of the query too?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Abel, I can take you off mute so you can give more context.
Which reports?
Sorry, I meant the monitors themselves. When you have a monitor alerting you via email, you usually get the query of the alert along with the results. I was wondering if we can remove the query or if we can customize that report, not just
Okay. So you are asking about alerting report. So this is again like a different part of functionality. This service list and service map is not integrated with alerting view, and I don't want to speak about alerting because I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Nicole said, I'm not able to set the time to be today's date. When I set a start date and end date, it stays that way. I have
So
to.
it's still about alerting. So yeah, I won't be able to answer this, but yes, I can figure. I can get the answer for you if you email me.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a copy of these questions so that we can send them out to you guys. So, Damian, would it be worthwhile to have could I work with an engineer or someone who would know more about the alerting piece of things?
I think yes, definitely. The session like that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Because this is about anomaly detection. So like a natural way to go from anomalies is alerting. Yes, and as I mentioned, we will be integrating this with alerting. It's not integrated yet, but yeah, I think it would be really valuable for people.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can bake that into a follow-up session and one of the future brown bag sessions for sure. Good content idea. All right, any other questions from the group? Let's see. Yep, would you be able to answer a question about threat intelligence?
So I think it's again probably like because it's security related topic, probably great topic for another session.
Yeah. Prakash, we actually our security session for the series is on the the third Tuesday of every month. So that'll be August. When is that? Our next one is August 15th. We're going to have a security engineer be presenting on that topic. And then also we have our past recordings of the security sessions we've done as well. Oh, that reminds me, I need to get you guys this link. Okay, go ahead and click here. And when these are finished recording, we put them up on this website. And then what you guys also have the option of doing is every single customer has an account manager. Some of you have customer success managers and technology advisors and technical account managers. You can always reach out to those folks too and get a little custom session with the data that's in your environment as well, if that would be helpful. So don't be afraid to reach out to your admin to find out who that person is if you don't know who that is. Okay, Iskra said, do you have any trainings on making dashboards? I can take that question for you. I'll send you an email with what I find. We actually have several, if you guys go to our YouTube channel, we have several things called micro lessons, and they're really short videos that teach you on certain things about Sumo. There's definitely one on dashboards. I could also schedule a dashboard specifically brown bag session as well in one of our future brown bag sessions too. Awesome. Love all the questions and the interactiveness. Thank you, everyone. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I think we could probably wrap it up then. Damian, this was awesome. Thank you for your time and for teaching us about tracing. And like I said, the recording will be up soon, and we will get the follow-up questions that we weren't able to answer out to you guys as well once we figure out what those answers are.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the questions.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.